Welcome back to Diary of the Cosmos. Tonight, we drift toward the oldest and quietest fear hidden between the stars. The possibility that the silence of the universe is not emptiness, but intention. Look up into the night sky for a moment. Not as a map, not as a collection of constellations, not as familiar shapes taught to us by culture and memory. Just as it truly is. A depth so vast that the mind cannot hold it all at once. A darkness scattered with islands of fire. Stars beyond counting, worlds beyond naming. A cosmic ocean that has existed for billions of years before the first human being ever lifted their eyes toward it. And somewhere inside that immensity, a question waits. A question so simple that it almost feels innocent. Where is everyone? The Milky Way alone contains hundreds of billions of stars. Many of them are older than our sun. Around many of them, planets almost certainly orbit in quiet circles, year after year, age after age. In the last few decades, astronomy has transformed this from imagination into observation. We now know that planets are not rare accidents. They are common. Some are giant worlds wrapped in storms. Some are scorched rocks pressed close to their stars. Some drift in temperate zones where liquid water may survive. Some may carry atmospheres. Some may carry oceans. Some may have had billions of years longer than Earth to experiment with chemistry, evolution, and time. The numbers are almost too generous. Even if life begins rarely, even if intelligence is rarer still. The age and scale of the galaxy suggest that someone, somewhere, should have arrived before us. A civilization with even a modest technological head start could, in cosmic terms, spread astonishingly far. Not overnight, not even in 1,000,000 years. But the galaxy is more than 13 billion years old. Against that timescale, even slow expansion begins to look inevitable. A species could move from one nearby system to another, then another, then another. A patient wave of exploration. Machines first, then habitats, then archives, then descendants, then things no longer recognizable as the species that began the journey. Given enough time, even caution becomes migration. Even migration becomes presence. And yet, the sky remains quiet. No engineered megastructures clearly visible. No unmistakable radio beacons. No ancient probes waiting in lunar dust. No star systems obviously rearranged by minds older than ours. The universe, at least from where we stand, offers no clear reply. This is the heart of what we call the Fermi Paradox. The contradiction is not between belief and disbelief. It is between expectation and observation. The cosmos appears old enough, large enough, rich enough. So why does it feel so empty? The question itself carries a strange emotional gravity. Because at first, silence feels peaceful. A still lake at midnight, a sleeping city, snow falling over distant rooftops. Silence can comfort, but there is another kind of silence, the kind that grows heavier the longer it lasts. The silence of a room after a phone call that never comes. The silence of footsteps that should be there but are not. The silence of an answer delayed long enough to become its own message. The universe may be that kind of silence. For more than half a century, humanity has listened. Radio telescopes sweep the sky in disciplined arcs. Dishes larger than buildings collect whispers from the dark. We search for narrowband signals, repeating pulses, mathematically elegant patterns, anomalies too precise to be natural. We listen because intelligence, in theory, should leave fingerprints. A civilization uses energy. A civilization changes its environment. A civilization emits signals. A civilization builds. Even our own species, still young and uncertain, has already altered the electromagnetic character of its planet. For a brief shell around Earth, our radio leakage expands into space like a fading memory. A sphere of old television broadcasts, military radar pulses, analog echoes, fragments of music, weather scans, human noise, a bubble of accidental autobiography. And if we can do this in barely a century of radio technology, what might a civilization 10,000 years older have done? Or 1,000,000? The expectation is difficult to escape. Someone should have left a trace, a star dimmed by vast engineering, a deliberate pulse, a repeating prime sequence, an artifact, a signal older than our species, something. Instead, we are met with cosmic stillness. The darkness does not answer all at once. It simply continues. This is where the fear begins to change shape. At first, the Fermi Paradox feels like a puzzle, a mathematical irritation, a mismatch between probability and evidence. But once the silence lingers in the imagination, it becomes something else, a mirror. Because every possible answer reveals something unsettling. Maybe intelligent life is unimaginably rare. That possibility is lonely, but gentle. It would make us precious, a single candle in a cathedral of darkness. Maybe civilizations destroy themselves too quickly. A darker possibility, one that turns the night sky into a cemetery of short-lived ambitions. Worlds that reached fire, machines, orbit, and eventually ruin. Maybe life is common, but intelligence almost never stabilizes. Maybe biology blooms easily and collapses just as easily. Maybe the universe is full of microbial oceans and empty skies. Or perhaps the answer is stranger still. Perhaps the silence is not evidence of absence. Perhaps it is evidence of caution. This is the threshold where tonight's journey truly begins. Because among all the proposed answers to the Fermi Paradox, one of them carries a uniquely cold and haunting logic. Not the rarest, not the most optimistic, not even the most scientifically likely, but perhaps the most psychologically terrifying. What if the universe is full of civilizations, and every one of them has learned the same lesson? Do not speak. Imagine a forest at night, not a peaceful forest, not a place of moonlight and wind, a forest so dark that shapes disappear after a few steps, a place where movement is heard before it is seen, where every rustle could be harmless or final. Every creature inside that darkness wants the same thing: to survive. No creature can truly know the intentions of another. A distant sound might be curiosity. It might be hunger. It might be fear. It might be something so different from our own instincts that it cannot even be interpreted correctly. Under those conditions, visibility becomes danger. To reveal your location is to surrender control, and in that uncertainty, silence becomes rational. The stars may operate under the same emotional mathematics, not because space is literally a forest, but because information arrives slowly. Intentions remain opaque. Technology can accelerate, and mistakes, once scaled to interstellar distances, cannot be recalled. A signal sent in hope may be received as vulnerability. A greeting may look like coordinates. A harmless civilization today may become unstoppable tomorrow. The cosmos is old enough for this possibility to matter. A species 1,000 years ahead of us would already seem miraculous. A species 1,000,000 years ahead would feel almost indistinguishable from natural law. If such civilizations exist, then every unknown contact becomes a strategic risk. And once that possibility enters the mind, the silence of the stars begins to transform. It no longer feels empty. It feels watchful. The unsettling elegance of this idea lies in its restraint. No monsters are required. No invasion fleets, no dramatic beams from the sky. Only uncertainty, only survival. Only the inability to verify another mind across impossible distances. In that environment, remaining hidden may not be paranoia, it may be wisdom. This is why the silence feels louder than noise. Noise can be random. Noise can be natural. Noise can be ignored. Silence sustained across a galaxy begins to resemble behavior, a pattern of omission, a negative architecture, an invisible agreement written in the absence of evidence. Civilizations may rise, learn, and disappear into deliberate quiet. Not because they are hostile, because they are cautious. Because every intelligent species eventually discovers the same terrifying asymmetry. The cost of speaking may be infinite. The cost of remaining silent may be only loneliness. And loneliness across cosmic time may be the cheaper choice. Let that thought settle for a moment. The Milky Way is a place full of minds. Ancient minds, patient minds. Minds older than our oldest myths. And all of them listening. None of them willing to be the first voice. The darkness does not need to be empty to feel cold. In some ways, it is colder if it is not, because emptiness offers no judgment. But inhabited silence suggests memory, strategy, history, possibly fear. Every star then becomes ambiguous, not merely a sun, a possible witness, a possible survivor, a possible civilization that once reached the same question we are asking now and arrived at a conclusion too costly to ignore. Stay quiet. The terrifying beauty of this possibility is that it explains not only why we hear nothing, it explains why we might continue hearing nothing forever. Not because no one exists, but because every species that survives long enough eventually learns that broadcasting hope into the void may be indistinguishable from lighting a fire in hostile darkness. And if that is true, then our own planet occupies a fragile moment in cosmic history. A young civilization, still noisy, still optimistic, still romantic enough to imagine that contact means connection. Still innocent enough to assume the universe shares our values. But innocence is often loud, and the night sky has had billions of years to teach harsher lessons. Perhaps every silent star is not silent by chance. Perhaps every quiet world once spoke. Perhaps the oldest civilizations are not the brightest ones, but the ones wise enough to disappear. The camera of the mind begins to pull back now. Past Earth, past the orbit of Neptune, beyond the frozen edge of the heliosphere, out into the sparse neighborhood of nearby stars. The galaxy stretches around us like a sleeping continent. Hundreds of billions of suns, no answers, no greetings, no visible roads between worlds. Only the possibility that the absence of evidence is itself the evidence. A civilization that wants to endure may first learn how not to be found. And if that lesson echoes across the Milky Way, then the great silence is no longer mysterious. It is strategic. It is deliberate. It is the sound of intelligence choosing restraint. Somewhere in that thought, the paradox changes. The question is no longer, where is everyone? It becomes something far more unsettling. What if everyone is already here, and hiding is the reason the stars still look so calm? The silence remains, but now it has shape, not emptiness, intention. And as we drift deeper into this idea, the next question becomes unavoidable. If silence can be rational, what kind of universe would force intelligence to learn that lesson? The silence changes once you stop hearing it as absence. In the beginning, it feels like emptiness, a blank sky, a patient void, a universe that simply has not answered yet. But once the idea of caution enters the frame, the same silence becomes something colder, not nothing, a decision. Because the frightening power of the dark forest idea does not come from aliens, weapons, or apocalyptic imagery. It comes from logic. A logic so stripped down, so emotionally indifferent, that it almost feels less like a theory and more like a law waiting to be discovered. At its core, the reasoning begins with a truth so universal that it barely needs translation. Any civilization that survives long enough must, in some form, value its own continuation. Not necessarily in the way humans do, not with emotions, not with culture, not with identity as we understand it. But survival, persistence, continuity, a pattern that wishes to remain a pattern, a mind that prefers tomorrow to non-existence. That alone is enough to make the stars dangerous, because the moment two civilizations become aware that others may exist, a second truth emerges beside the first. Intentions cannot be known. Not really. Not across light years, not across centuries of delay, not across biologies, machine substrates, post-biological architectures, or alien value systems that may not even categorize reality in familiar ways. A signal can carry information. It cannot carry certainty, and certainty is what survival demands. Imagine detecting a narrowband transmission from a star system 200 light-years away. The signal is unmistakably artificial. A mathematical pattern, prime numbers, an encoded pulse, something undeniably intelligent. The discovery would transform our species overnight. Science, philosophy, religion, politics, identity, everything would bend around that revelation. But after the awe fades, a colder question would remain. What do they want? We would not know. Worse, we could not know. By the time the signal reached us, the civilization that sent it would already be seeing a universe 2 centuries older than the one we observe. If we answered immediately, our reply would take another 2 centuries to arrive. 400 years for a single exchange. A conversation stretched across the lifespan of empires. Across that interval, everything changes. Governments collapse, stars evolve, planets warm or freeze, technologies leap, species transform, values mutate. Even if the original signal was harmless, the civilization receiving our response centuries later may no longer resemble the one that first spoke. The problem is not evil. The problem is temporal uncertainty. The darkness does not threaten because something hates you. It threatens because nothing guarantees continuity of intention over cosmic time. This is the first pillar of the dark forest. Survival matters. Intentions are unknowable. And then a third principle quietly enters the frame. Technology is not linear. This may be the most destabilizing idea of all. Civilizations do not necessarily grow in smooth curves. They can leap. A species may spend 10,000 years in relative stillness and then, within a few centuries, unlock artificial intelligence, self-replicating machines, relativistic probes, or engineering capacities so extreme that they become functionally unrecognizable. From the outside, this creates a terrifying asymmetry. A civilization that seems weak when first detected may become unstoppable long before any second exchange of signals arrives. The stars are too large and information moves too slowly for reassurance to keep pace with capability. That mismatch is where the forest becomes dark. Not because anyone is hunting, because everyone must calculate under ignorance. and ignorance at enough scale can imitate hostility. In human history, uncertainty has often amplified conflict. Borders harden, nations arm, signals are misread. Silence itself becomes suspicious. Now stretch that same instability across the Milky Way. Across civilizations separated by hundreds or thousands of light years. Across minds that may not share chemistry, embodiment, or any recognizable ethics. The rational response begins to shift, not toward trust, toward concealment. This is the emotional genius of the dark forest metaphor. The forest is not frightening because creatures are monstrous. It is frightening because every creature inside it has reasons to remain still. Picture again that impossible forest at night. No moon, no horizon, no reliable shapes. Somewhere beyond the trees, another presence exists. You hear a sound, a footstep, a branch bending, a brief sign of life. You do not know if it is harmless. You do not know if it has heard you. You do not know if waiting increases safety or danger. And because you do not know, every decision becomes strategic. To speak is to reveal position. To move is to reveal pattern. To signal friendliness is still to signal existence. The dark forest hypothesis extends this instinct to civilization scale. Broadcasting becomes risk. Visibility becomes liability. Techno-signatures become exposed surfaces. A civilization that learns this early may begin to erase itself from easy detection. Not literal disappearance, but restraint. Minimal leakage, deliberate masking, energy use optimized for concealment rather than spectacle. Infrastructure folded inward, signals kept local. Expansion performed cautiously or invisibly. The oldest minds in the galaxy may therefore not be the loudest. They may be the quietest. This is what makes the silence so deeply unnerving. It suggests that wisdom and invisibility may converge. The longer a civilization survives, the more it may understand the price of being noticeable. Even if every civilization begins curious, idealistic, and eager to make contact, evolutionary pressure at the strategic level may gradually remove the loud ones. The galaxy would then self-select for silence, not by malice, by survival logic. The dark forest becomes not a war zone, but an equilibrium, a stable condition produced by mutual uncertainty. This is why the idea resonates so strongly with the Fermi Paradox. It does not require life to be rare. It does not require civilizations to self-destruct. It does not require the universe to be empty. It requires only that enough intelligence emerges to recognize the asymmetry. The cost of staying silent is loneliness. The cost of being wrong about another civilization may be extinction. Under those rules, silence begins to look less tragic and more inevitable. The darkness does not arrive all at once. It settles into the mathematics. Suppose a distant civilization detects evidence of another world. Perhaps a planet with industrial atmospheric chemistry, perhaps radio leakage, perhaps directed signals. That discovery creates a branching problem. Option 1, ignore it. Safe in the short term, dangerous in the long term. Option 2, establish peaceful contact. Potentially transformative, but irreversibly revealing. Option 3, act preemptively before the unknown civilization becomes stronger. Dark forest logic argues that the third option can emerge as rational under sufficient uncertainty. Not morally good, not emotionally satisfying, simply stable under worst-case assumptions. This is what makes the hypothesis so frightening. It weaponizes prudence. The most terrifying universes are not the ones ruled by hatred. They are the ones ruled by reasonable fear, because hatred can be argued with. Misunderstanding can sometimes be repaired. But structural uncertainty remains even when all parties are benevolent. Two civilizations may both desire peace. Yet both may conclude that visibility itself is unacceptable. In this way, the forest remains dark not because of aggression, but because of mutually reinforced caution. The stars stay quiet because intelligence, once matured, stops confusing hope with safety. Let that idea breathe for a moment. Every silent sun is a place where this lesson may already have been learned. Every missing beacon is the result of a long historical memory. Perhaps ancient civilizations once shouted joyfully into the void. Perhaps they sent art, mathematics, greetings, maps. And perhaps those civilizations did not survive long enough for their optimism to become tradition. The survivors would be different, less expressive, more patient, less interested in announcing themselves, more interested in persistence. The universe may therefore contain not only life, but civilizations shaped by strategic evolution into silence. A cultural natural selection operating at galactic scale. The loud vanish, the quiet endure. There is something deeply human in how unsettling this feels, because we instinctively associate communication with connection, speech with trust, visibility with honesty. But cosmic distance erodes those intuitions. A message across 10 light years is already a 20-year gamble. Across 1,000, it becomes almost mythic. The civilization you greet is always partly historical fiction. The civilization greeting you receives your own species as archival data. In that sense, no one ever truly meets in real time. Only shadows of each other do. And shadows are difficult to trust. This is why the dark forest model is stronger as a psychological explanation than as pure spectacle. It does not ask us to imagine evil empires. It asks us to imagine rational beings trapped inside an information structure that punishes openness. The tragedy is not hostility. It is that openness itself may become evolutionarily unstable. In such a galaxy, kindness can exist. Curiosity can exist. Wonder can exist. But none of them outrank survival. The oldest civilizations may have discovered this long before their first million years. They may have seen enough false signals, enough vanished worlds, enough close calls, enough accelerating neighbors to learn the same brutal lesson. Do not be first. Do not be bright. Do not be easy to map. The forest rewards stillness. And slowly, the emotional center of the theory shifts. The fear is no longer someone may attack. The fear becomes far subtler. A galaxy full of minds may naturally converge on silence without a single shot ever being fired. The absence of evidence then stops being mysterious. It becomes the expected result of intelligence under strategic uncertainty. The sky above Earth remains unchanged. The same stars, the same patient glow, the same soft band of the Milky Way stretching overhead. Yet once this logic settles into the imagination, every point of light feels altered. Not brighter, more careful. As if the universe itself has learned discretion. Somewhere among those stars may be civilizations unimaginably older than ours. Not absent, not extinct, simply hidden behind the discipline of not being obvious. The longer we sit with that possibility, the more the silence begins to resemble an ecosystem. Not dead space, a living equilibrium of restraint. And once that idea takes hold, a deeper question emerges from within it. If silence is not merely fear, but the rational outcome of incomplete knowledge, then what exactly about cosmic distance, time delay, and strategic uncertainty makes trust collapse so completely? By now, the silence no longer feels empty. it feels structured, not by visible walls or borders, but by something colder. A hidden architecture built from distance, delay, and the unbearable slowness of certainty. The dark forest becomes most frightening here, not in its imagery, not in the suggestion of unseen civilizations, not even in the possibility of danger. Its deepest power lies in the way ordinary logic begins to fail when stretched across interstellar scales. What looks manageable on Earth becomes unstable among the stars. Trust is one of those things. On a human scale, trust survives because uncertainty can be reduced. You can observe behavior, you can negotiate, you can verify. You can correct misunderstandings in minutes, hours, or days. Even wars, terrible as they are, still unfold within timescales where intentions can change before total consequences arrive. But space does not allow that luxury. The moment civilizations are separated by light years, every act of communication becomes historical. A signal is never a conversation. It is a fossil. By the time it arrives, it already describes a world that no longer exists in the same form. This alone begins to corrode trust. Imagine two civilizations separated by 500 light years. One detects the other's electromagnetic leakage. Artificial, unmistakable, a technological world. Even if both sides immediately desire peace, the structure of the problem resists that desire. A greeting sent today reaches them in 5 centuries. Their reply, if equally friendly, returns another 5 centuries later. 1,000 years for the emotional equivalent of saying hello. Civilizations do not remain psychologically stable across such spans. Humanity itself has transformed radically in just a few hundred years. Our science, ethics, power systems, and social assumptions would be almost incomprehensible to many of our ancestors. Now extend that volatility across a millennium. The civilization that answers your greeting may not be the civilization that first heard it. It may be their descendants, their machines, their ideological successors, their surviving fragments, or something they became after passing through transformations we cannot model. The stars turn identity into moving targets, and trust requires stable targets. This is the first reason it collapses. Not because another civilization lies, because time makes truth stale. The darkness does not move faster than light. Fear does. This creates a second instability, one even colder than delayed communication. Capability can outpace information. Suppose a civilization appears primitive by interstellar standards. Their radio leakage suggests early industrial development. Perhaps they are only a century into digital computation. A distant observer might reasonably conclude they pose no immediate threat. But by the time any exchange of signals completes, that assumption may already be obsolete. Technological growth is rarely smooth. It comes in jumps. A civilization can pass through thresholds that radically alter its strategic profile. Machine superintelligence, autonomous replication, relativistic propulsion, self-improving computation, stellar engineering, biological redesign, post-biological migration. The crucial problem is not that such transitions are guaranteed. It is that they are possible. Under uncertainty, possibility matters more than average outcomes. A weak civilization today may become an overwhelming force before its neighbors can update their beliefs. This makes reassurance almost impossible. You are always reasoning about outdated versions of each other. A 1,000-year-old portrait, a snapshot already dissolving. In game theory, this resembles an incomplete information problem with catastrophic downside risk. Each player knows another agent exists. Neither player can reliably infer long-term intentions. Neither can confidently estimate future capability. Neither can cheaply verify peaceful continuity. And because the downside of being wrong may be extinction, conservative strategies dominate. The terrifying beauty of dark forest logic is that it does not need aggression to emerge. It needs asymmetry of information. That is enough. Let the scale widen. Now imagine not two civilizations, but many. A galaxy with scattered pockets of intelligence. Each one young at some point, each one uncertain, each one observing the silence and drawing its own conclusions. Some may choose to hide, some may broadcast, some may remain undecided. But every visible civilization becomes a strategic data point for every hidden one. A signal is not just communication, it is a revealed preference. It says, "We are here. We are willing to be known. We may be naive, we may be confident, we may be powerful, or we may simply not understand the rules yet." The problem is that no civilization can know which interpretation dominates. Across these scales, ambiguity compounds. Even benevolence becomes suspicious. A peaceful signal may be camouflage. A scientific transmission may be reconnaissance. Silence may be fear. Silence may be discipline. Silence may be a lure. This is how trust dies, not in betrayal, in irreducible ambiguity. The stars are too far apart for second chances. A misjudgment made across neighboring countries may still be corrected. A misjudgment made across 800 light years becomes permanent history. The consequences arrive long after the decision architecture that produced them has vanished. This transforms strategy. Rational civilizations must optimize not for best-case emotional outcomes, but for worst-case survivability. That distinction is everything. Humans often prefer narratives of cooperation because our environments reward rapid feedback. Kindness can be reinforced. Conflict can be de-escalated. Signals can be clarified. The cosmos strips away all three. No immediate feedback, no fast correction, no reliable trust update. A civilization under these conditions begins to think less like a diplomatic state and more like a long-horizon survival system. This is why the dark forest is not merely metaphorical horror. It is a model of strategic fragility, a place where the geometry of space itself destabilizes moral optimism. The darkness does not need hostile minds. It only needs minds forced to make decisions before enough evidence can ever arrive. Pause there, because this may be the most unsettling idea in the entire theory. The collapse of trust is not psychological weakness. It is physics, light speed delay, distance, thermodynamic cost, information decay, technological unpredictability. The universe itself may manufacture suspicion. In that sense, cosmic paranoia is not irrational. It may be structurally induced by space-time. Every additional light year deepens this effect. 10 light years is difficult. 100 becomes severe. 1,000 transforms diplomacy into archaeology. By then, every message is an artifact. Every reply, a relic. No civilization ever truly sees another as it is, only as it was. And the larger the delay, the more dangerous assumptions become. This creates what may be the final pressure point. Location revelation is irreversible. The moment a civilization emits strong, recognizable technosignatures, it has surrendered a strategic advantage that can never be recovered. Coordinates, once inferred, do not become less true. A world cannot move its star. A biosphere cannot erase its atmospheric chemistry overnight. A signal origin, once triangulated, becomes permanent knowledge. This is why visibility carries such weight in dark forest reasoning. The cost is asymmetric. A civilization may gain knowledge by detecting another, But by being detected, it exposes a fixed point in space-time. Even if no immediate threat exists, the future remains open. The observing civilization may evolve. A third civilization may intercept. A machine descendant may inherit the data. A dormant probe may one day use it. The danger horizon extends indefinitely. Trust collapses because time never truly closes the file. The universe remembers coordinates. This turns caution into something colder than fear. Patience. The oldest civilizations, if they exist, may not need to act quickly. Cosmic timescales reward waiting. A world identified today can still be relevant 10,000 years later. A technological species can be assessed over centuries. Signals can be studied as cultural fossils. Weaknesses can be inferred slowly. The forest becomes dark not because something is rushing toward violence, because the timeline is too large for urgency to matter, and patience is terrifying. There is a special kind of dread in realizing that interstellar strategy may not operate on emotional time. No anger, no vengeance, no panic, only cold optimization over epics. The stars above us then begin to feel less like lights and more like decision points. Every civilization is trapped in the same equation: signal and risk, silence and uncertainty, hope and survivability. Trust becomes the most expensive luxury in the galaxy. Not because no one deserves it, because no one can validate it before strategic conditions change. This is where the dark forest hypothesis reaches its scientific and philosophical peak. The silence is no longer mysterious, it is emergent, produced by the interaction of finite light speed, exponential uncertainty, irreversible location exposure, non-linear, technological growth, catastrophic downside, asymmetry. In other words, the stars may be quiet because the laws of physics naturally punish openness at civilization scale. The forest is dark because space-time itself prevents trust from stabilizing. And once that possibility settles into the mind, the next question becomes painfully personal. If the universe rewards invisibility, if trust collapses because of distance, if every visible civilization risks becoming a fixed target in cosmic memory, then what does that say about us? A young species, a loud species, a civilization that has already been leaking signals into the dark for more than a century. Perhaps the most dangerous thing about humanity is not our violence. It is our innocence. After everything we have built tonight, the question finally turns inward. The silence is no longer only out there. It touches Earth. It touches our history, our technology, our optimism, our habit of assuming that being heard is the same as being understood. For most of human existence, our planet was invisible in any meaningful technological sense. Earth carried life for billions of years. Complex organisms emerged. Forests spread. Oceans changed chemistry. Dinosaurs ruled and vanished. Mammals rose. Consciousness bloomed. Civilizations appeared. And through all of that time, from the perspective of a distant technological observer, our world may still have looked almost natural. A biosphere, perhaps. A chemically interesting atmosphere. A planet with oxygen and seasonal variation. Alive, maybe. But not obviously technological. That changed with radio. The transformation was quiet from our point of view. A laboratory signal, a military transmission, an experimental broadcast, a voice crossing a city, then a continent, then the sky. But in cosmic terms, something extraordinary happened. Earth began to glow. Not in visible light, in information. A sphere of electromagnetic leakage began expanding outward from our world at the speed of light. Every television carrier wave, every radar sweep, every early radio drama, every analog news transmission, every emergency frequency, every military pulse, every accidental fragment of culture, all of it moving outward into the dark. A widening shell of evidence, humanity announcing itself without ever intending to. By now, that sphere extends more than 100 light-years from Earth. Thin, fading, weakening with distance, but still real. A record of our technological adolescence drifting through nearby stellar neighborhoods. This is where the dark forest stops feeling philosophical and begins to feel intimate. Because if visibility carries strategic risk, then we are not discussing a hypothetical civilization anymore. We are discussing ourselves. The darkness does not judge the intention behind a signal. Physics only carries the signal. This is why the distinction between SETI and HYMET matters so deeply. SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, is passive. It listens, it collects, it analyzes, it waits for the universe to reveal a pattern. Passive listening carries almost no strategic downside under dark forest reasoning. You learn without exposing location beyond what is already visible. METI, by contrast, changes the logic completely. Messaging to extraterrestrial intelligence is active. It says, "We are here. We know you may exist, and we are willing to speak first." That is a very different act, not scientifically, strategically, because once intentional messaging begins, ambiguity shrinks. A civilization leaking accidental radar may still be dismissed as noise. A narrow, deliberate mathematical transmission is unmistakable. It is not merely existence, it is invitation. Humanity has already flirted with this threshold. The most famous example is the Arecibo message, transmitted in 1974 toward the globular cluster M13. A brief burst, a symbolic packet, numbers, chemistry, DNA, a human figure, our solar system, a gesture more poetic than practical. The target lies so far away that the message was never intended as real diplomacy. It was a demonstration of technological capability, a cosmic bottle thrown into an ocean too large for tides. Yet emotionally, it revealed something important about us. We are a species that wants to be known. We encode ourselves. We archive our image. We compress our biology into symbols. We imagine that recognition is inherently good. There is something beautiful in that instinct, and something dangerous. Because the dark forest hypothesis asks a brutal question. What if announcing yourself is not maturity? What if it is evidence that you have not yet learned caution? The universe may not reward honesty. It may reward survivability. This is why debates around METI have become so divided. One side argues that the probability of contact is vanishingly small, that our signals are weak, that interstellar hostility is speculative fiction, that curiosity defines intelligent life. The other side does not need certainty of danger, only asymmetry of risk. If the downside of being noticed is catastrophic, then even tiny probabilities matter. The argument becomes less about aliens and more about decision theory. Do you take an irreversible action when the payoff is uncertain and the worst-case outcome is species-level loss? Dark forest logic says caution should dominate. The terrifying part is that we may already be beyond that choice. Earth's radio shell cannot be recalled. Our earliest broadcasts have already crossed nearby stars. Any civilization within that radius, if capable of sufficiently sensitive detection, may already know that something technological happened here roughly a century ago. They would not know us as we are now, only as we were. Again, the cosmos turns communication into archaeology. A distant observer receiving Earth's 1930s broadcasts today would be learning about a civilization of old microphones, early cinema, primitive computation, and geopolitical tension. By the time they decide what that means, we may already be something else entirely. The same uncertainty that destabilized trust in the previous section now turns toward us. We are not simply the observers, we are the outdated signal. The emotional weight of this idea is difficult to overstate. Humanity often imagines first contact as an event in our future. A radio ping, a decoded transmission, a ship descending through clouds. But in dark forest terms, first contact may already be happening in silence. Not as dialogue, as observation. Nearby civilizations, if they exist, may not need our permission to begin modeling us. A century of leakage is enough to infer chemistry, physics, technological stage, and perhaps even the rough structure of our media systems. Enough to classify, enough to watch, enough to decide whether further patience is wiser than response. The darkness does not require immediate action, only memory. This is what makes humanity's position so unsettling. We are a young civilization that grew technologically loud before ever solving the strategic meaning of loudness. Our broadcasts began as engineering triumphs, not cosmic policy. We became visible before we became wise. And once again, the fear here is not monsters, it is innocence. A child calling out in a forest because silence feels unnatural. Not yet understanding that silence may be the only language the forest respects. There is also another layer, subtler and perhaps even more haunting. Our planet may reveal itself through more than radio. Atmospheric chemistry altered by industry, artificial nighttime illumination, waste heat signatures, orbital debris, future megastructural engineering, planetary spectral anomalies. Technological life may write itself into the planet's physics. If so, even perfect radio silence in the future would not erase all traces. A sufficiently advanced observer might still identify Earth as a world where intelligence has changed planetary equilibrium. The coordinates remain. The file stays open. This is why the ethical question surrounding active messaging feels so profound. Who gets to decide for an entire biosphere? A scientist? A nation? A private organization? A civilization still divided by conflict and unable to coordinate its own climate future? The decision to speak outward is not merely scientific curiosity. It is a civilizational statement, a declaration that the potential benefits of contact outweigh unknown risks. Dark forest reasoning asks whether any species this young is truly qualified to make that choice. Perhaps the most haunting answer is that qualification does not matter. History may have made the decision for us. Every old radar station, every television broadcast, every accidental carrier wave, every deep space communication. Our planet has been whispering for decades. The stars around us have already received fragments of our becoming. Old wars, old songs, old voices. The sound of our species learning how to turn electricity into memory. Somewhere, perhaps, those memories are crossing silent worlds. Or perhaps they fade into background noise before reaching any meaningful listener. That uncertainty remains. Dark forest is not certainty. It is structure under uncertainty. And under that structure, the fact that we are already visible becomes less a dramatic sci-fi twist and more a strategic discomfort. We may not be the hunter. We may not be the prey. We may simply be the species that spoke before understanding the cost of speech. The Earth hangs now in the mind like a small blue signal source. Fragile, bright, historically noisy. A single world in a galaxy that may reward those who leave fewer fingerprints. As the camera of thought pulls away from Earth, the radio shell expands with it. Past Mars, past Jupiter, beyond the Kuiper Belt, past the nearest stars, a transparent sphere of old human noise moving through blackness. Inside it, wars, music, weather reports, mathematics, panic, celebration, static, and wonder. A civilization's childhood fossilized in radio. And somewhere beyond that expanding boundary waits the most unsettling possibility of all. Not that someone dangerous is listening, but that someone patient already has been. By now, the silence of the universe has changed shape many times. It began as emptiness. Then it became a question. Then a strategy. Then a law of caution. Then a mirror turned toward Earth itself. And now, at the edge of our journey, it becomes something even more difficult to hold. Meaning. Because the dark forest hypothesis is powerful, not because it is proven. It is powerful because it reveals how fragile our assumptions about intelligence may be. We are creatures shaped by local experience. On Earth, communication often reduces danger. Knowledge builds trust. Visibility can create cooperation. Shared language makes futures possible. So we instinctively project that moral architecture onto the stars. We imagine that advanced civilizations would outgrow fear. That wisdom leads to openness. That intelligence naturally bends toward dialogue. But the universe does not owe us that psychology. Dark forest remains only one answer to the Fermi Paradox. A compelling one, a haunting one, a strategically elegant one, but not the only one. And the final silence may come from causes far stranger, far sadder, or far more merciful. One possibility is the great filter. The idea that somewhere along the path from chemistry to civilization lies an improbably difficult step. Perhaps life itself is rare. Perhaps multicellular complexity is the bottleneck. Perhaps intelligence almost never stabilizes. Perhaps technological species nearly always destroy themselves before reaching long cosmic lifespans. Under this view, the silence is not caution. It is attrition. A galaxy where countless worlds almost became visible, but failed before their voices could travel far. This possibility is chilling in a different way. Dark forest makes the universe feel populated but restrained. The great filter makes it feel like a field of unfinished attempts. Not hidden civilizations, lost probabilities, ancient oceans where chemistry stalled, biospheres that never left microbial equilibrium, intelligent species that discovered energy before wisdom, civilizations that reached orbit but not endurance. The stars, then, are not silent because everyone is hiding. They are silent because almost no one survives long enough to matter. Another possibility is the rare Earth view. Life may not merely be difficult. Complex, intelligent, technologically expressive life may require such a rare combination of factors that Earth-like outcomes are almost cosmically unique. A stable star, a protective giant planet, plate tectonics, a large moon, long climatic stability, the right chemistry, the right evolutionary accidents, enough time, enough luck. Under this possibility, the silence is not threatening. It is solitude, a universe rich in planets, but poor in stories. This interpretation carries less dread than dark forest, yet perhaps more sadness, because it suggests that the stars are quiet not from fear, but from absence. No hidden listeners, no patient civilizations, no strategic restraint, only natural beauty without witnesses. And then there is the zoo hypothesis, a possibility as philosophically disturbing as the dark forest, but gentler in tone. What if advanced civilizations know we are here and choose non-interference? Not fear. Observation, a cosmic quarantine, a preservation ethic, a refusal to disrupt emerging intelligence before it reaches some threshold of maturity. In this view, the silence becomes a kind of mercy, a deliberate distance maintained not to survive us, but to protect the integrity of our development. This idea is speculative, perhaps deeply so. Yet it reveals something emotionally revealing. Our minds are desperate to give silence intention. Fear, compassion, absence, failure, restraint. Each explanation says as much about us as it does about the stars. And that may be the deepest truth of the Fermi Paradox. The silence is a canvas onto which intelligence projects its own anxieties. Dark forest remains the scariest answer because it weaponizes our own understanding of risk. It says the universe may not be cruel, only strategic. It says advanced minds may not hate us, only refuse to gamble on our future behavior. It says the quiet between stars may be the natural equilibrium of civilizations that survived long enough to understand asymmetry. Yet even if dark forest is wrong, its emotional force remains, because it teaches a brutal philosophical lesson. Intelligence does not automatically produce trust. Knowledge does not guarantee kindness. Age does not guarantee openness. Wisdom may not glow, it may dim. The oldest minds in the cosmos, if they exist, may not reveal themselves, because revelation itself is the mark of youth. There is something almost compassionate in that possibility. Not because silence feels warm, because it suggests that survival may require the surrender of vanity. No monuments in visible orbit, no triumphant beacons, no galaxy-wide declarations of selfhood. Only civilizations that endured by learning how small visibility really is compared to time. And perhaps this is where the idea touches something more intimate than astrophysics. Human maturity often follows a similar arc. In youth, expression feels urgent. Identity wants witnesses. Presence seeks affirmation. With time, endurance often replaces performance. What matters is no longer being seen. It is remaining. The dark forest may therefore be terrifying because it scales that lesson to cosmic proportions. The galaxy is a place where maturity and invisibility become almost synonymous. A civilization's final wisdom may not be transcendence. It may be discretion. Still, there is another way to read the silence. A gentler one. Perhaps the universe is quiet not because it punishes openness, but because intelligence is still unimaginably rare and separated by gulfs of time too large for overlap. Civilizations may rise like sparks in different eras. 1,000,000 years apart, 10 million, never coexisting long enough for contact. The silence, then, is not warning, it is timing. A cosmic loneliness created not by hostility, but by missed synchrony. One species too early, another too late. Signals crossing dead worlds and unborn minds. A tragedy of temporal misalignment. In that interpretation, the silence is almost kind. No hunters, no hidden observers, no strategic prisons, only the sorrowful mathematics of civilizations failing to share the same night. And yet, the dark forest lingers. Because among all the answers, it most directly confronts the fragility of optimism. It asks whether our instinct to equate communication with goodness is merely local bias. A species evolved in dense social groups, under rapid feedback loops, may simply be psychologically unprepared for the strategic cruelty of interstellar scales. The stars are too old, the distances too great, the consequences too irreversible. Perhaps caution, not curiosity, is the true long-term adaptation. Perhaps the oldest civilizations do not send messages because every civilization that once did is now absent. The survivors are the quiet ones, the patient ones, the ones who learned that the universe remembers coordinates longer than cultures survive. As we reach the final edge of this journey, the camera drifts outward once more, past Earth, past the Sun, past the familiar spiral arm, beyond the Milky Way itself. The galaxy shrinks into a thin wheel of silver dust. Billions of stars. Billions of possible histories. Billions of silences. Whether that silence is warning, absence, timing, or mercy, one truth remains. It has changed us. The night sky can no longer be merely beautiful. It now carries strategic weight, existential weight, philosophical weight. Every quiet star asks not only what is out there, but what intelligence becomes when survival stretches across eternity. Perhaps the most unsettling answer is not that the universe is hostile. It is that the universe may be so old, so large, and so unforgivingly structured that wisdom itself eventually learns stillness. The darkness does not need to threaten. It only needs to wait. And maybe that is the final gift hidden inside the silence. A lesson. That intelligence worthy of cosmic time may not be defined by what it says, what it builds, or how brightly it shines, but by what it chooses not to reveal. The stars above us remain calm, not because we understand them, because we have only just begun to understand what silence might cost. This has been another entry in Diary of the Cosmos. Until our next journey, remain with the stars.